I'm going to thank Mango Stallions for this one because after I posted my spoiler-free review of Scream 2022 or Scream 5, he commented that I should do a spoiler-filled one. So I thought, yeah, that's actually a good idea because I found it really frustrating to talk about it spoiler-free. You really can't say anything. So yes, I'm going to do a spoiler-filled version review of Scream 2022, a Scream 5. So we're now 25 seconds into this segment. If you haven't stopped it yet, I'm going to remind you again that I'm going to be talking about Scream 5 spoilers. So turn this video off right now if you don't want to talk about it. Okay? Okay, here we go. So first, talking about the franchise, I talked about it a little bit in my spoiler-free version that, yeah, this is just a weird horror franchise in a way because it's not based on, its continuance isn't based on the person who is the killer. It's not like Michael Myers or Jason. It is based on these survivors. So you have to have them back every time, but at a certain point it's like, oh, they got to go through this again, these three characters. So it's a tough franchise to keep going because, yeah, you need those three characters to keep on coming back. So Sidney, Gale, and Dewey are back again. And I found Scream 4 was like, literally, it was like, okay, we have these three back. Now we got to bring in a bunch of new characters. It's literally like them all being led to the slaughter. Yeah, they're all going to die, and then, yeah, our three main characters still survive. So yeah, it's like watching the trailer for this one, I thought, are we just going to do this again? We got three characters back, we got some new characters, they're all going to die, and we'll be back to three of them. Okay, here we go. So yeah, that opening sequence, I thought, oh, okay, yeah, yes, okay, it's referring to the Drew Barrymore sequence again, yeah. Oh, she didn't die. Interesting twist. That she didn't die, so I thought, okay, they're really trying to do something here. The deaths that happen, yeah, I really didn't care about any of them. The new characters, yeah, okay. And I mentioned it in my review before. It was very gory. Did you not think that with this one, that it was a bit more gory? Like, yeah, the opening sequence I found very gory. Like the knife going into the son's neck. It just seemed very excessive. Like the stabs seemed very excessive. Like I don't remember seeing this much. Of course, like you had Rose McGowan's head in the garage door, but just in general, yeah, we saw blood, but I don't remember as much of like knives going into skin in the other Scream movies. So I did find this one very, very violent, and I found that these movies are supposed to be fun, and I found a little bit that each death was like, oh, that wasn't fun to watch. You know what I mean? It just like, yeah, it was a little bit too much in the gore factor for me. But yeah, okay, let's just get to Dewey's death. This is something that I thought happened in the first one. Definitely thought in the second one. I was thinking back to that moment in the sound studio where Gale and Dewey are on opposite sides of the glass and he's getting stabbed. We're not seeing the stabs, remember? We're just seeing the blood. But we're not hearing him at all. And I thought it was such an impactful death. We're not hearing his scream. I thought it was such an impactful death. I remember when at the end of the movie, then we see he's still alive. I remember the audience had an actual like audible reaction, like, oh, that he's still alive. So like Dewey has been a good character, but I mean, yeah, every single movie it's like, oh, he's not dead. He's still alive. So yeah, not to insult David Arquette, but I mean, this series, the characters that people really go for are Sidney and Gale, not Dewey. So yeah, it was time for him to die. I had a feeling it was coming when that sequence started. And definitely, as soon as like he's like, oh, I got to shoot him in the head, and those elevator doors closed on him, I thought, oh yeah, he's going. But I did find it was a little bit like, oh, that's the death of Dewey, like just like that. We've watched this guy for 5 movies, and that's it. So yeah, it felt a little bit rushed. The death didn't really feel earned. I think they should have done more with it. And if that's what the movie was doing, I think it really should have focused on Sidney, Gale, and Dewey, if that's the route we're going. Because I looked at the time briefly, like, I think Dewey comes into it at the 30-minute mark, and we briefly see Gale on TV. Sidney doesn't come into the 50-minute mark, and then Gale comes in after that, probably close to the hour mark. Once we get to that final, sequence, and then Sidney and Gale show up, and then Gale gets shot right away. And I know it was like going back to the original, how she gets shot in the original, but like, oh man, we're taking her out of the action. The Gale pretty much just showed up, and now she's going to be sidelined, so I didn't love that. So I think if that's where they wanted to go, like, why not just focus on Sidney, Gale, and Dewey? Clearly there is something they're trying to do here. They're trying to continue this series with Melissa Barrera, and I can't remember her character name off the top of my head. I love the, I don't know how they did that with Skeet Ulrich, the Billy stuff. I wanted to look up and see how they did that stuff. It looked amazing, those kind of dream sequences that she was having, and obviously it was new dialogue that they recorded, I think. So yeah, they're obviously trying to do something new with this series. I don't know if it works. I don't know if a Scream movie will work without Sidney and Gale. I don't know if you could do that. I don't know if audiences will show up for that. But yeah, I get to that. At a certain point, it's like, how much can these characters go through? But then I think at this point, especially after we've seen Dewey die, I don't think audiences could take seeing Sidney and Gale die, because we've seen too much of them to be that's the end of the story. They just end up being killed by Ghostface. I would not want to see that Cindy or Gale die at the hands of Ghostface. It seems like they're setting up that maybe the next one, and it seems with the box office this weekend that there probably will be another one. It seems like they're setting up that they're going to do another one, and they might be hinting that Cindy and Gale won't be in it, which would be a bold move. So yeah, do you think they can continue the Scream franchise without Cindy and Gale? And yeah, what do you think about finally killing off Dewey? Do you think did you feel satisfied like with the story that he was gone? So yeah, I still give Scream 5 or Scream 2022 a B. But yeah, what do you think? Now we'll talk about the spoilers on this YouTube page.